Welcome back, everybody, to Talk of the Now podcast. I'm Gene, your host, and I have Jason here today with us, who appears to be snacking on something, maybe gum, which is really weird. But Jason, how you doing?
Doing great.
Doing great. Well, last time we talked, no one will ever hear it because I accidentally deleted the recording. So sorry about that, folks. Don't even remember. Jason, do you remember what we talked about? I don't even remember.
Now it'll be on the special features of the
No.
release. You know,
that'll never be there because
I know.
Oh well. I think we did talk a little bit about books we've been reading, but
Yeah, it was kind of one of those more
that's about
all
it.
over the page kind of random nights when we talked.
So a normal
Yeah.
podcast for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
normal podcast like a conversation with us.
Well, join the conversation, Jason.
Yes, that's right. We will join the
Do our
gentle
best
conversation.
NPR voice.
That's right.
Speaking of NPR type voices, there's a little golf tournament going on this weekend, Jason. I don't know if you've heard of it over here in Georgia called the Masters.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching the Masters. I would not go so far as to say I've enjoyed it since I was born, but I have enjoyed watching it for many years now, and it's a lot of fun. You've been before, right, Jason?
I've been to a practice round. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's just as good as going to me. Just about. I mean, it's not exactly you're not there on Sunday afternoon or whatever, but it is a great experience to go there. And honestly, folks, if you haven't been, it's worth going just for the scenery and to see the landscaping, to see the cool gift shop they have, and partake in the food that they have. That's basically pretty dirt cheap, but really good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. One year we actually had a party at our friend Keith, who has joined us on this podcast in the past, and will join us in the future, at his house, and it was to watch the Masters on Saturday, and he ordered food from the Masters. And we had all the cups and all the plates and I mean, it all came in a box like prepared by them. So
you told me about this, right?
Yeah, it's something you can do. Actually, it's a pretty cool idea.
He's not planning to do it this year, is he?
Not that I know of, no.
Yeah. Maybe I think me and my wife might cheap out, and we might just go to like Publix and get some pimento cheese and some some Arnold Palmer, sweet tea and lemonade, and some chips and a few other things, some bread. Make our own little Masters.
There you
although next time I go, Lord willing, I would like to try their barbecue and their pimento cheese sandwich. I didn't get a chance to try it last time, but hopefully this. And apparently, if you like egg salad, their egg salad sandwich is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just your typical Southern. I don't necessarily think the food is exceptional by any means. It's from the Masters, and it's just kind of cool that you get it, you know.
Well, I had a club sandwich, I think, when I was there, and I was highly impressed for a club sandwich. I mean, can't expect a lot from a club sandwich, but I got a lot, and I was very impressed.
They stacked their meat and cheese between three pieces of bread really well.
I mean, it was like $3 compared to what you would pay at just about any other event.
That is true.
Pretty incredible.
The food is cheap. Yeah.
And my part of my family does this little kind of a fantasy golf tournament thing, if you will. And I put, I believe it's Sheffley. I believe that's his name. I think I had him as winning it this round. And we'll see how I go. We'll see how I do. I get our little prize that we have set up. I think I had him at under 13. So, a little golf talk with the now, Jason and Gene.
That's right. We're getting into the swing of things. Yes.
Oh man.
Sorry, I don't have a stroke. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just hurt. It hurts.
I know it does.
Burn.
I know.
Deep burn. Okay. I'm sorry. I borrowed a line from the movie. My foul. I got an email from another random dude.
Uh-oh.
I forgot his
name. You should really talk about these things on the... Oh, okay.
Wanting to know something about it, if I wanted to partner or something to get more scene, I guess, out there for the podcast or whatnot. And I'm like, sure, pal.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a scam.
Yeah, I want to pay you to help me out. That's right.
Yeah.
No, thank you. When I was last time I think I don't know if I talked about this with you and Keith or not, but my goal for Talk of the Now right now is to get up to about 100 episodes, and going to have a few more interviews here and there with people, and of course Jason and Gene, and our buddy Keith, who's been a pleasant addition to the old Talk of the Now family.
That's right.
And I'd like to get our old friend Jared back on at some point. He's a good guy to have on. Maybe I'll at least try to get him to come on for the 100th episode, if nothing else.
There you go.
Jared's like me. He's got 20 kids now, so he's got his hands full.
Yeah.
But, give or take 16 or so. Yeah. But so that's kind of the plan. And here's the thing, too. And this isn't me like trying to ask people to like and subscribe, but
hit the button.
If you like this podcast, I really do. We want you to go to the YouTube site and like episodes, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, and even make good, friendly comments about it. We will block people that say stupid things. Anyway, things like that, like, subscribe, comment is the big thing, and share with the people. If you like it, share it with your friends, coworkers, family, things like that. If you think there's some content that they might enjoy, that gives us motivation that what we do here is, not that we do things just to get people to come in. We do things because we want to do it. And if people like it, we continue to. Otherwise, me and Jason could just Skype and talk to each other. But right, is pretty much what we did for the first 30 plus years of our life. Anyway, well, maybe not 30 years of our life, but you know what I mean, Jason.
24-ish, 25. 25?
I don't know how long.
Wow, 25. Okay. Yeah.
Well, so yeah, that's the biggest thing. When we reach the 100 mark, the current plan is to take a little bit of a break and to sort of reassess where Talk of the Now is going. I may do some interviews here and there. It could be a 3 to 6 month break and sort of assess where I want to take it. It might just go transition completely into a theology podcast. It might transition to just doing interviews and random stuff here and there throughout the year. As when you have a family and job, you get busy. So we'll see. But, Jason, I think that if the podcast takes off and we see that there's and we see that there's interest and that people are liking it, to me, that's kind of a motivation to keep that community going. And then we keep it, we try to be more consistent, posting twice a month at least, if not every week when possible.
Right.
So the biggest thing again with it is that, we want to see that people like it and that it's growing. So otherwise, we may just, and plus, once we get to 100 episodes, that is a lot of episodes. So we'll just see where the direction goes from there, Jason. I know you enjoy it. I know that you're the man.
I know. Yeah, I do. I do enjoy it. Yeah.
And your moonlighting podcast, you do. I know you enjoy that.
Oh, yeah. About moonlighting the show?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Bruce Willis? No. Yeah, I mean, it'll be good. Yeah, I know to start my own eventually. But,
eventually.
Other things going on right now, setting up a new house eventually.
Yes, Jason will be moving to a new base camp.
And so all the blurred out boxes behind me. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't know of a better way to say it than moving is just the biggest pain in the butt.
Amen.
It's just, there's just nothing fun about it at all.
Or is it? No.
I mean, it's just like one of the most exhausting things you can do, one of the most confusing things you can do. I mean, when you try to fall asleep in your new bed or wherever your new place is, you're just sort of like, what day is it? Where am I?
Right. Yep. I am sitting. You can't see it, it's blurred out. I am sitting on a free Herman Miller chair.
Ooh, you got a free Herman Miller chair.
Yeah, they were gonna throw it away at work. So.
Oh wow, excellent.
Needs a little repair, but it still works. So.
That is very excellent.
Yeah.
So don't really have much agenda to talk about tonight, so we're just going to kind of go free form here, unless you want to discuss something, Jason White.
Nothing jumps to mind specifically here.
Did you watch the movie I asked you to watch or finish watching?
Oh, Dune?
Yeah.
The first Dune? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I mean, it was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting, right?
I mean,
Not the
if I'm
greatest,
on it,
not the worst.
no, it was entertaining. Once I figured it out, there's a little too much artsy fantasy going on for me. It's a little overdone with some of the stuff.
I can see that.
But the original was to me too. So
yeah. Oh yeah, the David Lynch.
Yeah, because
that one's out there.
Like a mind trip. But I mean, I appreciate the artwork of it, and I appreciate the little story. Now, the first one really did kind of cut off and end. It's like, oh, okay.
This one had a very a story that you could follow really well.
And, yeah.
I agree with see where it was going.
Yeah, it was actually well done. And the actors all did well in their parts too. I was impressed with that.
Right. Yeah. The David Lynch one to me had great actors, but it was clearly just discombobulated all around, just as far as the production and probably mostly the editing, I would guess.
Yeah.
And all that kind of. I hear that he's just not a fan of it.
No.
But the costumes and the cinematography, though, the first one, for the time, he does a great job. That's one of the reasons I kind of like watching that old movie.
Yeah, it was it was above and beyond on those.
Right. Yeah. Like just a lot of, if anything, I think he beat the new one in a lot of those areas.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that.
Now it's hard to beat the actors that he was able to get. I mean, he had, what's his name?
I mean, all of these, but obviously time editing and cinematography and everything comes around. I mean, you're not going to get even the best like restoration of that still won't be the 4K, mastery of a new movie, but it's not supposed to be. So,
if anything, my critique of the new one, and I don't know, I've heard source material, people that know the story well, pretty good fans of this movie.
Yeah.
My critique, again, back to the David Lynch one, is that this one had not just a literal darkness to it, kind of like it was kind of a dark movie to watch, not like as in content, but just like
as in presentation. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a serious movie. Like it took itself very serious.
I guess that's why I didn't like latch onto it as much. Even back then, obviously we were pretty young when that came out, but and especially didn't latch on the however many hour long one. But it just kind of was depressing is the word, in a weird way. Like I appreciate the art of it and its place in history cinematically, but it's like, I don't really want to watch it,
But and the new one though, I mean, not that every movie let's just do an extreme. Sometimes Marvel movies, especially or whatever DC movies, they can kind of go to the extreme of like, okay, we don't need comic relief every 5.7 minutes. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I'm not a fan of all those movies either. Yeah, that's why, because they try too hard. Yeah.
But I mean, not that we keep using Star Wars as a base for the original Star Wars, but a lot of times, even the Star Trek movies, the first ones that were made, I think in the 80s, a lot of times,
70s,
yeah, the first one was made like in 78 or 79, but a lot of those and the original Star Wars, they had a good balance of, and you could go even to the Firefly show, had a good balance of being serious when it's time to be serious, and it's okay to have a light moment when it's a light moment.
Yep. I mean, Firefly was amazing. That was probably a good example of a space western. And it just was well done.
And this movie, Dune seems to be more of kind of dealing. It reminds me of sort of like it has sort of a British, like, I guess you might call it like a Victorian overtone to it, kind of like emperors and
it does.
House of Atreides or whatever, and this house and that house, and just sort of like feuding entities. That's kind of the cool part about. I have read like the first few chapters of the book, and that kind of it does spark the interest of seeing the movies. I'll say that. But I will say, Jason, the second movie I've heard is really good. I've heard a lot of good reviews on that. So even if I don't get it to the theater, I plan to watch it as soon as it's, downloadable or whatever, streamable.
Gotcha.
So,
Hmm.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, it's just hasn't really been many movies out recently that I, over the top enjoyed per se. But that one was pretty good, and like you said, no real agenda, which is nice. Just in general.
Well, I like it when people, going back to the Lord of the Rings, you're trying to stick to the story that the author was trying to put across. I mean, obviously you got to cut corners and slice and dice everything because you can't put a book unless you want a 10-hour movie.
Very true.
So you have to give and take. I mean, for sure. Of course, the Lord of the Rings. The third one is a little discombobulated toward the end. It's kind of like how many. I mean, isn't that the whole saying? How many endings do we have here?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe we'll do a podcast one night on just that whole series of the Lord of the Rings for the people that want to geek out over that.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, it's up there with one of my favorite series, but it's just a really entertaining 3 movies that Peter Jackson did.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's hard sometimes to look nowadays and just find something that you can really get lost in the story, and then that's what you can kind of do with these kind of movies, these fantasy epic kind of movies, is you get lost in it really easily, like in a good way.
Yeah, I can see that. That's one of the reasons why I'm watching a lot of older movies lately. I've been watching.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of them queued up in the DVR. If you keep your eyes open on Turner Classic Movies, sometimes they do some good classics that. I mean, yes, they play Casablanca probably 12 times a year, but a lot of other good movies too as well. Which Casablanca is one of my favorite old movies for sure.
Yeah, it is a good one. Yeah.
And I was trying to think of what else that I may have seen recently I haven't watched a lot of movies right now. It's kind of the I'm a sports fan, as you know, and so you hit the Super Bowl and then you get into March Madness.
Yep.
I do like watching March Madness, although I'm not really a college basketball fan, but then all that much. And then you watch the Masters, baseball season starts, so you end up watching baseball games for me. And you, the Braves the Braves just started playing. Jason, how about that? There you go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yes, Hank Aaron. Congratulations on that. Rest in peace, Hank Aaron. 50th anniversary of his record-setting home run, 1974.
Yep. And our friend, guy I grew up with, was in charge of taking his bat out and showing it to people for the broadcast, which was kind of cool.
Was he on the broadcast? Did they show him on the? Oh, yeah, I missed that. I should have DVR'd that.
I took some. Scott took some screenshots or took some pictures with his phone.
Yeah.
And sent it to us. But yeah.
Do you remember what night that was? Was that 2 nights ago or 3?
Yeah, it was the it was the 8th. Yeah, it was the same day as the black hole sun.
Okay. I probably deleted that game then.
But yeah. Yeah, my parents were actually at that game in 1974 when Hank Aaron broke that record.
Well, I hear half of Atlanta was there somehow.
No, they were there, and they had the certificates, to prove it. And Dad had bought tickets for that whole series.
And does your mom or you have them in a case or anything?
I have them somewhere. And then he did it on the first night of that series. It was April. It was cold. And my mom was like, okay, good. We don't have to go to the rest of the games. And if anybody knows my dad or knew my dad, you're going to every single one of those games, and you're staying to the last out.
You got to be a real fan of the Braves, 1974. I mean, that was all they had going on, wasn't it?
That was it. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big thing to have going on, but still, there wasn't a whole lot of hope in those days.
Yeah, I mean, that was like 3 years removed from a playoff team or so, and I don't know.
And even then, we had to wait a good 20 years for something to happen, really, after that.
Well, it wouldn't be. I mean, they had decent teams in the early 80s, and that was about it. They had, a very good team in 81, or what I think it was, and then 82, 83, 84 were decent teams. and then Joe Torre left, and they were downhill for the next 6 years until '91.
Yep.
So, yeah. People that aren't Braves fans, if you're a Cleveland fan, you might understand.
You didn't live in the stay in the trenches with us long enough. Being a Braves fan.
Oh man, a lot of trenches.
A lot of trenches.
Well, for modern fans, the Freddie Gonzalez time, the time after Bobby Cox left up until Brian Snitker, that gives you an idea of what the '80s could be like when it was just sort of.
And it was a comparable time frame actually. So really, we think of it was not that long, but it really actually was a long time. But we just got so accustomed to it after a while. After 14 straight division championships. Yeah, you get kind of accustomed to we're at least going to get there, and then when we don't, we're like, wait, what? So it was kind of nice to have the team win a couple of years ago that didn't really have any business winning. That was the greatest one. To me, it made it better than 95.
It was great, that's for sure. 94 was an interesting season to look back on. I mean, we'll never know, but I really think if the Braves could have possibly turned it up and had 2 World Series wins had they went through the 94 season.
Yeah, gotta love those strikes. Anyway.
And strangely enough, if you were a Montreal Expo fan, that might make you the most mad because they were apparently the hottest team that year and at the time of the strike. And then they moved. I don't know when it was, how long after, but
yeah,
they left Montreal. Can remember those Montreal teams from my early days as a Braves fan. Gary Carter, Andre Dawson, and some of those other big players. So did you watch any of the Eclipse?
Well, I didn't buy any of the glasses.
Me neither.
But I was out moving stuff with my mom because it was off, on Monday. And we stopped by a Walgreens to see if they had any glasses to view. I don't really care, but the lady outside had some, and she was letting everybody look through. So I got to see.
Libraries are good places to find glasses.
But or if you have ever done any welding, your welding glasses would have worked.
I use the old Mr. Wizard's World cardboard box with the little pinhole in it, and did that little experiment. We did that with our kids.
Yep.
And speaking of, I introduced our kids to Mr. Wizard's World.
Mr. Wizard? Recently. Yeah, really.
You ever watch Mr. Wizard's World of the 1980s on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, and he was actually around when our parents were younger, too.
Oh, yeah, he was around. He's got old black and white footage. I've never watched those. I want to go back and see some of those. But
yeah. Yep, I remember those on Nickelodeon. Yep.
They're fun to rewatch. They're on YouTube now, so the episodes I have, I don't know if that's somebody like filming a film, but like they're very blurry and stuff sometimes, and you're kind of like, quality could be a little better, but when you're watching it though, it holds up well. Like his demeanor and the way that the experiments they did, it was really cool.
Yep. He was a good presenter, definitely. This is our stream of consciousness, folks. So you're hearing it right here.
This is me getting tired.
Yes, it is, and it's funny.
All right, Jason. Well, we're going to sign off. Like I said before, everybody, this is a shorter episode. Not on purpose. We just don't have much to talk about tonight, except Jason chewing his gum. I don't know how professional that is. Blows a bubble.
It's chewing gum. Can't blow a bubble. Chewing gum.
I'll just drink my water while we're in the unprofessional ranks. What are you drinking? A Mr. Pibb?
There we go. I'll make all the noises.
Are you drinking a Mr. Pibb?
Oh, I can't tell you what I'm drinking. They haven't paid us money. So.
Oh, that's true.
Just saying.
So true. Maybe we should do a podcast of all the different drinks one night. Sodas.
Oh, yeah. We could go into our past with sodas. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sodas. Gene. We definitely had tens of people listening this time.
Let's settle this for now in our own minds.
Okay.
I had this conversation with my wife before we go. So there's this whole saying, do Southerners say Coke if you want a soda, or do they just say, the drink, or do they say soda? And I'm here to tell you, it depends on who you are and where you're from, even within a region.
Truth.
That's my opinion. In my household, we grew up, you kind of said Coke, but also that was all we had in the house. So there. I mean, if all you have in the house is a Coke, that's what you're going to call it.
That's all we had in the house. My mom worked for Coke corporate for 43 years, so you didn't call anything that was not a Coke product, or that actually wasn't Coca-Cola a Coke. If it was a Diet Coke, it was a Diet Coke. Right. If it was a Sprite, it was a Sprite.
In my family, we would have like Diet Coke. Mom liked Diet Pepsi for a while. Back in the old days, they'd drink Tab, and you would just call it what it was. But for the most part, you had a Coke in your house, and that's pretty much all you were referring to. I mean, if you happen to have some Sprite, oh, we got Coke, we got Sprite. What do you want?
Right. Or you just say, go get me a drink.
Yeah. Well, the other caveat to that is the South is big on sweet tea. So a lot of times, you want a Coke? No, I'll take a sweet tea. Or you want Coke or a sweet tea or that sort of thing. But I have heard, and I watch a lot of Andy Griffith, in the North Carolina area up into places like Virginia, West Virginia, they'll say things like soda pop.
Yeah.
Or pop even.
Yeah, and technically North Carolina is the home of Pepsi, so,
Is that where it was founded?
It was founded there, but they're not headquartered there. They're headquartered in New York City, so.
RC Cola was it founded?
Columbus,
Georgia. Okay. RC Cola is probably my second favorite. Next, as far as the dark colas go.
The dark colas.
Of the yesterday. I mean, I take that back. If I had to rank them, Coca-Cola, then I'd go Dr. Pepper maybe, and then RC Cola.
Not a check from any of these companies we're sitting here talking about.
I know, right? Jesus,
anyway. Come on, guys, pony up some cash. It is funny the different ones like that, and then you got up in the Virginia, North Carolina areas, you got the good old cheer wine.
Cherry wine is very good. I like cherry wine.
Yeah, cheer wine is interesting. It's very sweet. I remember my grandmother drinking Tab like it was going out of business. And then,
man,
I
think most of us have been through a Mountain Dew phase sooner or later in our lives.
Nope.
You probably Mellow Yellow.
Pepsi product. I didn't drink the Mountain Dew.
Did you do the Mellow Yellow instead?
No. I always thought that's just going to give me like a heart attack. I don't need to drink that.
We're already having the stupid episode on drinks anyway.
I know we are, aren't we? This is just a preview, folks, of the excitement.
All right, let's cut it out. Cutting it out. All right, everybody. Thanks. Like, subscribe, share on your Facebooks and your Instagrams and your what else do they make, Jason? They make the tip snatch, whatever that is.
Yeah, you got the Rumble, you got Telegram, you got all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
I don't know what they're all. So, all right, Jason. Have a good day, everybody. Peace out. Love you. We love everybody.
We do.
Bye-bye.